Tonight, Alberta's top court rules in favour of Muslim students who were robbed of their religious rights in a Calgary private school. And an Indiana court charges a former US veteran for shooting a Muslim man. We cover stories about Germany on Ukraine's NATO bid, a new disability benefit bill, and a possible face-off between Musk and Zuckerberg inside the Octagon. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Catherine Bullock. A private school in Calgary, Alberta has lost a decade-long legal fight to overturn an Alberta human rights finding that it discriminated against Muslim students. The dispute dates back to February 2012, when parents of two students filed complaints with Alberta Human Rights Commissions against Weber Academy. The students were not allowed space to pray. 2 years later, a commission tribunal ruled that the school discriminated against the students. Weber Academy appealed that decision to the then Court of Queen's Bench. The bench rejected the appeal. The school appealed the decision to Alberta's Court of Appeals. The appeals court ordered a new human rights tribunal hearing. The cycle was repeated again, with each level dismissing the school's appeal. This week, the Alberta Court of Appeal has once again dismissed the school's argument that offering a space to pray contradicts its desire for a secular atmosphere. A US Army veteran has been sentenced to 55 years in prison for the murder of an Afghan refugee. The news comes after a 3-day trial in a court in Indiana. The perpetrator is charged with the murder of victim Mustafa Ayubi. He is also charged with additional time for using a firearm. 4 years ago, the perpetrator followed Ayubi in a road rage incident in Indianapolis. The suspect followed Ayubi to his apartment and made Islamophobic remarks. The perpetrator told Ayubi to go back to his country. Then he opened fire on Ayubi, who was unarmed, shooting him 8 times. After the conviction and sentencing, the victim's sister wrote on Twitter, "Ayubi stood and put hate to shame. Justice served." German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is saying again that Ukraine's accession to NATO is out of the question before an end to Russia's war against Ukraine. Scholz's comments come ahead of the NATO summit in Lithuania. He said this when he was speaking to the German parliament. Scholz says the Ukrainian government also agrees with this. He pointed out that Germany's civilian and military aid to Ukraine now totals $18.4 billion. He says the real priority is to strengthen Ukraine's fighting capability. The upcoming NATO summit in Lithuania will focus on how to bring Ukraine closer to NATO. It will also assess the security guarantees that can be given to Ukraine after the war ends. Scholz also spoke out in favor of Sweden's rapid accession to NATO. He said Sweden should sit at the summit table as a new ally alongside Finland. Scholz has appealed to the Turkish president to approve Sweden's NATO membership. Finland and Sweden applied for NATO membership soon after Russia launched a war on Ukraine in February 2022. Although Turkey approved Finland's membership, it is waiting for Sweden to fulfill commitments under a deal. The deal was signed in June last year between Turkey, Finland, and Sweden. Finland and Sweden have promised not to provide support to groups Turkey considers terrorist organizations. These include the Syrian offshoot of the Kurdistan Workers' Party and the Fethullah Gulen movement, the group Erdogan blames for the 2016 coup attempt. Turkey is also holding back approval for Sweden because it allows protesters to burn copies of the Quran and Turkish flags. Several foreign ministers hope Turkey will approve Sweden's bid ahead of a NATO summit next month. For more on Musk and Zuckerberg's possible face-off, please stay tuned. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres says he is deeply concerned over the ongoing violence and loss of life in the occupied Palestinian territories. His spokesperson released a statement on Monday in which Guterres says he condemns all acts of violence against civilians. He says this includes a shooting by Palestinians that killed 4 Israelis and the retaliation by Israeli settlers that involved torching a Palestinian school. Guterres says he is also concerned about a recent operation by Israeli security forces that ended with 7 Palestinians dead, including 2 children. He says Israel, as the occupying power, must ensure the civilian population is protected against all acts of violence and that perpetrators are held to account. He also called on Israel to abide by its obligations under international humanitarian law, including sparing civilians during military operations. A new disability benefit bill by the federal government has passed in Parliament. Bill C-22 will create financial support for low-income, working-age people with disabilities. The news comes after the Liberals have been facing pressure to fulfill their commitment of providing support to differently abled Canadians. Carla Quattro, Minister of Employment and Disability Inclusion, calls the bill an important part of Canada's social safety net. She says the bill will benefit hundreds of thousands of people with disabilities. It is not yet clear how much money would be offered, but the bill will be modelled after the Guaranteed Income Supplement benefit. After online sparring, Twitter owner Elon Musk and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg are ready to lock horns. Elon Musk has challenged Zuckerberg to a cage match. Zuckerberg replied in an Instagram post asking Musk to send him the location. Musk's challenge comes after news circulated that Zuckerberg might be introducing a text-based Twitter alternative named Threads. Musk wrote on Twitter, "I'm sure Earth can't wait to be exclusively under Zuck's thumb with no other options." A media source says Zuckerberg's company has confirmed he is serious about fighting Musk. Later, Musk proposed the Vegas Octagon as the location, referring to the Ultimate Fighting Championship Octagon in Las Vegas. Musk tweeted, "I have this great move that I call the Walrus, where I just lie on top of my opponent and do nothing." Thank you for watching. Sound Vision is a not-for-profit organization. It produces our news. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.